Welcome back, awesome action toy fans and subscribers. It is JoyToy Warhammer 40k time. Ba-boing! Yes, I am looking at the Ultramarines Redemptor Dreadnought. This looks fantastic. A big box. This is a lot of new tooled parts on this. Not just a repaint or something else. As we look the side, just the name, the back, we see some pictures. There might be some familiar parts, but lots of this is going to be new. It tells us it's 33 centimeters. I shall be measuring later and checking. It looks absolutely fantastic. I've got to say, this could be my favorite release yet. Now, I said when the Invicta Warsuit came out, and that's going to be compared to this a bit later on, that Invicta Warsuit is one of the best 1/18 scales that's been 18 scale toys that's ever been released, and I still believe that now. But this could be taking that crown, as it were. Not saying Invicta is the best, but it's one of the best, and this could likewise be one of the best too. And I think those crowns might be lost when the Roboskull comes out next year. It should be. Looks fantastic. I am so looking forward to this. Let me pause this, move the camera, open the box, set it up, and let's take a look. So back in an instant. Okay, here he is. He is set up. He is awesome. I'm going to say this off the bat. Better than the Invicta Warsuit. And for me, the Invicta Warsuit was the best release by JoyToy for 40k thus far. And then this Redemptor Dreadnought is better. It's just, so good. So I've had about 2 minutes to play and 2 minutes to try and break something off, which I've done. But for you guys, when I say break it off, it's not broken. I managed to unglue by pulling hard. It'll force the glue to separate. And I'll show you that in a minute. This just looks absolutely fantastic. So let's get a close look. Now, bear in mind, I'll bring him closer. You're going to only see parts of him because he's big and the camera's only got so much of a zoom it can do. I could zoom out all the way, then it becomes tiny. You want to look a bit close. So you see I've set him up. You can see he's got 1 foot on a slightly raised platform on the back, 1 foot on the front. So I'll bring him here. He's going to be leaning over slightly. You can see that lovely sort of inking there. The sort of oil work, weathered work looks really, really cool there. We turn to the side. We can look at this nice gun here. Nice colouring here, needs a bit more likewise on the gun here. There is some sort of dry brushing, but not enough weathering on this gun. It does need some more. Also, if I turn it back around, you see it's indented, but really that should be more recessed and maybe a spot of colour inside to give it a sort of a glow look. Come around, see a nice sort of cables there. There's a bit of bend, but they are hard plastic. To the back, we can see the backs of the legs very, very chunky. See my messy table here. Coming up, looks very cool. These sort of red pipes and these other sort of pipes there. And to the back there, very, very nice. Turn to the side. The other side looks cool. It all kind of reminds me of Ed 209. Not quite, but from the side here. Looks really cool again, and back to the front. Okay, so I think it looks amazing. Now, I'll tell the things I don't like. I like the feet, the fact they've got articulated toes, but the ratchets, the joints need to be stiffer on the feet, because here's one top-heavy brute. Now, if we look at this other hand here, you see the gun underneath looks really, really cool. The ammo belt going in there, and we have the 4 fingers there. So yeah, the things I like, the toes should be stiffer and maybe slightly more movement in the ankle perhaps. I don't know, we'll look at that in a moment when I do articulation. But it looks great. Now let's go up to look at the top. Then we have that little launcher which you have to attach separately, and then the 2 sort of smokestacks, the 2 exhausts there. Looks really great. So let's look at articulation and features. So you start at the top. This does move side to side, and yes, it does elevate up and down. You can open this, and you can see the sarcophagus, the coffin, whatever you want to call it, inside. Let me just change his legs slightly so he's a bit more upright. There we go. And I told you I broke it earlier on purpose. You can take this out if you're prepared to wobble and force until the glue comes off. And then you're left with an empty shell inside, which I will have a quick camera on, or light on rather, and look in there for you guys. You can see it's just like that, empty shell inside. So if you want to use it for something other than 40k, you could in theory stick a figure in there. Back of this is just empty, but that's the sarcophagus. First time I read it as Top Man, but it's Tom Man or Toe Man or Two Man. And Top Man would have been hilarious because that was a closed brand in UK, closed shop in UK years ago. Don't know if it's still there. So it's just glued in by these parts here. Mine was loose on one side, it's a bit of wiggle and pulling. I thought, you know what, if it's going to break, it's going to break, but didn't, it just undid the glue and it came out. So you've got potentially a nice sort of a seat in there for another figure if you don't want to use this with 40k. And getting back aside, you've got to just put this underneath and then push into place, and that should be it. So those open and close. The guns here elevate, which is fantastic. So that one is really why is that one so loose, and this one doesn't want to go anywhere? There we go. That was catching on. Okay, the bolts of mine are catching, if you can see that, are catching on the edge there. This one, they're not catching at all, or just touching. This one there, you see it's catching the plastic just here, like thus. And you can hear the toes clicking again, straining under the weight of this big bad boy. Okay, let's look at the arms. We get all the way around. There's no tubing to keep them stuck in place. We get just about flat. It would go flat, but it drops down there. There is no shoulder roll that I can see. Bicep is under 90, but that doesn't really matter. Hand does turn, and the fingers have two joints, one and a is it two or one? Oh yes, definitely two. And I just pinched my skin. The fingers have double joints, which is great, but you can pinch your skin. Great work by JoyToy. Oh, that's so stiff. See, this is how stiff the toe should have been by JoyToy on this. And then we just got like a bolt there. That should have been something in there. This arm also is all the way around. The shoulder, I'm assuming, is about the same. And the small bicep bend as well. The waist will turn, will dip. Forwards, backwards, not so much. That's more in the hips. Speaking of the legs, that far forwards and all the way backwards. Hips, though, is better than expected. Pretty good. Kneecaps is almost 90 degrees, which is very, very impressive. Yeah. Again, the knees are nice and stiff, just those toes are not. We come down to the ankle, so you can see that the foot turns, though that's not stiff enough. This one's a bit stiffer. There is great dorsiflexation. Tippy toe is small. There is not. Is there a left and right? There is a left and right. But that is so. There we go. That is really stiff on the left and right. But that is fantastic. Stiff. But the toes are articulated but too loose. And he's popped out. They need to be stiffer, because that's where a lot of the weight is going to be when you're articulating in extreme poses to balance. So even now, it's like this pose, it's still pushing out on the toes. Okay, so let's get a height. They say 30 cm. I Okay, we can just about see the top here. So if I go from the ground, or from the floor rather, or the table, 30 cm to the top of the smokestack, and the top of this is about 30.5, 31 maybe. So not lying. Width wise, from shoulder to the shoulder is about 28. And then depth wise, so we're looking at the chest cavity, not the arm sticking out. We're looking at approximately 16 maybe. 15.5, 16 possibly. So he's a big chunky boy. Let's have a comparison. Let's stick him here. We can see him over there. Come on, stay there, camera. Okay, let's compare him to the recently reviewed and the rather brutish, but not as tall, though broader, I think, Chaos Hellbrute. Oops. You can see that the Hellbrute is dwarfed by this Redemptor Dreadnought. The Hellbrute does look good, but he is dwarfed. Though you reckon that hammer could do some serious damage. If I take the Invicta Warsuit pilot, and I compare it with the Invicta Warsuit in a moment, you can see that this is easily over twice as tall as he is. Very, very nice. Okay, let me take him away, and Hellbrute, let's bring in the rather big Invicta Warsuit, which is taller and has better toe articulation because it's stiffer. Oops. So, and he just got all his aerials fell off then. So we can see that they are nearly the same size. I would say, God, that is hard to call. I would say they are almost even in terms of size. Really hard to say. But my favourite now is the Redemptor. I think it is better. However, looking at the two, the paintwork or the weathering on the Invicta has had more time put into it. It's got the edge highlighting. It's got some nice dark edges on it as well. Plus mine's collected some dust, which makes it look more weathered as well. But that Redemptor is phenomenal. Let's put that down there. Let's grab his little antenna that came off. This is an amazing piece by JoyToy. I just wish the toes had stiffer articulation. They've knocked out the park of this, I think so. And again, just recessed a bit more, and put some glow inside that. A bit more weathering, and that would have been amazing. Okay, this is awesome. JoyToy signing out, saying please like, share, subscribe. Check out the Patreon, link in the top right of the video. And I'll see you soon with another review for you guys. Stay happy, keep collecting. Bye-bye.